Hey guys, final step, step 3, I'm gonna do some very light photoshopping on that sketch. And obviously Photoshop is a very complex program and everyone has different ways of doing things. My sketches, I tend to like just to be very didactic. They're not supposed to be photorealistic renderings at all. That's a different kind of profession actually. What I'm trying to do is render the rendering to kind of pull out the main features that I can talk about with the client. So I'll show you some of my techniques and then we'll be done with this one. So I've scanned my rendering and pulled it into Photoshop. 300 or 150 DPI is fine. It doesn't need to be any bigger than that unless you're gonna blow it up on the side of a building. First thing I do is go image adjust, levels auto. And then name this layer line work. So really what I'm gonna do for this rendering is put some glass in, probably some flooring, and then maybe some of these architectural features because that's what the rendering's about. And then we'll be done with it pretty quickly. I don't wanna spend more than an hour on this because I gotta move on to the next one. So the first thing I would do, let's say I'm gonna put some glass in this. I'm working in a small window, have your layers on. I'm working in a small laptop and stuff keeps docking and going away. So first thing I'm gonna do is go layer, new layer. I'm gonna name it glass. Always name your layers and work really cleanly. There's nothing more frustrating than opening up a Photoshop document and seeing layer 1, 2, 17, 18, 28. It's ridiculous. And then you have to sit there and click off and on. So if you work really cleanly, you can get to where you need to go. What I'm gonna do is basically lasso the area where I'm gonna put glass in. So first thing I do is go to the polygon lasso tool and then start clicking point by point around where I'm gonna put the glass in. And if you miss a point, you can go backspace, 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 boom, click here, 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 backspace, I missed that point. And you can be more precise using your shift tool to create. Here I'm gonna go chop it through that pot because I'll just cut it out later. Over this little perch on the window wall, over to the edge of the rendering, up to the top of the mullion, all the way back to the first corner. So when the little circle pops up, that's the lasso is ready to close that area, and you can see now it's highlighted. So making sure I'm on the glass layer. I could actually Photoshop in a sky, above the horizon, etc. But I don't. The rendering's not about the view. It's going to be about this kind of millwork design. I'm just creating I'm creating surfaces for the players, the stage. I'm creating the background of the stage, and this stage set is the members right there. So I think I'm just gonna do a fade of blue, and I will do a fade from like a gray-y blue. Let me get to here, grayish blue. This is the RGB color picker, and then that's the foreground, and the background, more of a turquoisey blue, picking the gray. Let's see how that looks. And then I'm gonna go to the, make sure I'm on my glass layer, go to the fill, the bucket tool. I'm gonna fill with a gradient, and I'm gonna click and swipe. And so it's a grayer on that, bluer on the front, that's fine. Obviously it's really intense. I'm going to lighten that up. Nice purpley blue is kind of pretty. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go to the selection tool, rectangular marquee, because I'm gonna essentially chop out where the mullions are. So I create a rectangle, go over there, delete, and I'm being very kind of sloppy because this is not, because I'm trying to manage my time, but I'm also, I'm not making a perfect rendering. There's lots of programs that do that. What I'm doing is to kind of create a story about the millwork and that light fixture and the cool big island. And the main things I want to talk to the client about. I can use the polygon lasso tool to get the color out of this pot, the way it's overlapping the pot, boom, double click, delete it. And then where I want to get these leaves, I want this tree that I did, remember the last thing I did on the sketch, I do want it to pop out, so I'm going to zoom in there. And if I move my layer selection down to the line work layer, bam, I can use the magic wand tool and select inside these different leaves. That one was not closed, so it selected too much. So with my history, it selected more. Basically the selection set went outside of that leaf. So I'm gonna backspace on that one. I'll do that one by hand. If it's a closed object, the magic wand tool will select all the inside area of it. I can tell that's not closed. So then I've got all the leaves that are closed, and then I'm gonna switch back to my glass layer and go ahead and delete, but bam. Now these other leaves, I'm gonna have to do manually, so stay on my glass layer. I'm gonna go in with the polygon lasso tool. You can see how just removing the glass from it popped it to the front, but I'm not gonna paint that tree green. It's not about the tree. I can talk to the client about, hey, let's go ahead and do some plantings in this area to kind of soften up the experience. But I don't want to spend hours rendering leaves. I can, if I wanted to, I can have a picture of a ficus plant or a fiddlehead fig in my presentation as well, but I won't go to that level of detail. It's more about the light fixture, the island, the material on the island, the materials on the backsplash, etc. So that's like about all I'm gonna do. Control minus is to zoom out. That's all I'm gonna do for the background, just to create a field and a plane. So I'm gonna work a little bit on the floor now, and then I'll touch back with you in a second. So I've just about finished photoshopping. You see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just 10 layers. I haven't done a lot of effects. Here's the glass that we started with. I went ahead and put in flooring. It's named flooring. A soft gray kind of flooring for this gray tile I'm using. This island face is important for the design, so I went ahead and added the wood there. Again, using an area fill and then trimming out is how I achieve that. Then I also have this kind of wooden soffit going here. And then I'm looking at different colors to put on this soffit, whether it's this jade green or this sort of imperial red. So I can kind of toggle that off and on. But please note that when a color changes plane, it changes value, right? Here on the top, it's away from the light, so it's darker. Here on the vertical face, it's facing the light, so it's lighter. And the last thing I did is went ahead and, since these light fixtures are pretty important, go ahead and add some light effects to that, which all I did was just do a color fill of white to yellow inside that space. So that's really the end of this rendering. I will collage it on a page with actual pictures of the materials and then the real materials if I'm in the room with the client. If not, it'll be a digital board. So that's the end of 2-point perspective in a Steve Busto rendering.